Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Marilyn Darling Show, and welcome to another episode of 30 Inks 30 Days. How is everyone doing today? Are you having a nice day? I hope you're having a nice day wherever you are in the world. Today we're looking at a green ink from Akkerman. Akkerman Dutch Masters Dous Emerald Green. Thanks go out to Gary and Kathy Scott for providing the sample for this review. Before we start the review, I'm going to share this with my friends. I would encourage you at this time to share this with your friends so that they can come and hang out with us too. Alright, we're going to share this to the Twitter and the Tumblr and the Facebook and the Reddit and the 30 Inks 30 Days Pinterest and the LinkedIn and the Blogger. Alright, now that we're all shared out, hopefully some of our friends can come in and hang out with us. It's gonna be great. Okay, here is our ink of the day. This is kind of a dark-ish green ink. Kind of a murky green. Here is our ink swatch and water, and it does have a little bit of sheen, but I don't see it so much in the writing. Here is our ink swatch and water resistance test shows that I might not want to use this on the outside of an envelope for fear it may wash away. Here is our ink painting of the day, and it looks very nice. And here is our toilet paper chromatography. I see that there is a bluish tint left behind, and then there's a lighter green, and then there's a darker green, and then there's yellow, so that's very interesting. Okay, let's do some paper review, shall we? This is the Pen and Gear Memo book from Walmart.com. I'm going to scooch in so we can see everything. Down just a smidge. Man, it is feathering you like a chicken, and it is ghosting and bleeding through the page. Too bad. I found out today that my longtime friend, YouTuber friend, Cara Moon Lynn is coming to California, so I'm gonna get to hang out with her hopefully this week. That'll be fun. This is lightweight traveler's notebook paper. It's a little bit of sheen there, a little bit of shading, no feathering, a little bit of ghosting though. This is super lightweight traveler's notebook paper. Again, a little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading, no real feathering, but a little bit of ghosting. This is Moleskin 70 GSM. It is seeping into the page, and it did bleed through the page. Alright, this is Field Notes Journal. A little bit of shading, no feathering, a little bit of bleeding, a little bit of ghosting. This is Fabriano Eco Qua 85 GSM. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading, a little bit of no feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. This is Ayush 100 GSM paper. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading, no feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. This is Leuchtturm 1917. I almost said 1917 dot grid, but it's 1917 plain paper. A little bit of shading, no feathering, no bleeding, but heavy ghosting. This is Midori MD paper. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading. No real feathering, a little bit of bleeding, a little bit of ghosting. Oh, I'm sorry, no bleeding, but a little bit of ghosting. This is 52 GSM Tomoe River. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading, no feathering, no bleeding, and only a minimal amount of ghosting. This is the Jot Journal from the Dollar Tree. A little bit of shading, a little bit of sheen, no feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. This is Maramon Nemosity 80 GSM Dot Grid. Tiniest bit of sheen, a little bit of shading, no feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. This is Oxford Optic Paper 90 GSM. A little bit of shading, no feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. Clairefontaine 90 GSM. A little bit of shading, you don't really see any sheen. No feathering, no bleeding, and barely any ghosting. This is Lamy Booklet 90 GSM. Nice shading, no feathering, no bleeding, minimal amount of ghosting. This is Exceed 100 GSM heavyweight paper from Walmart.com. Tie that down. There's a little bit of shading, no feathering, no bleeding, but only a minimal amount of ghosting. Up and Up Wide Roll composition book from Target.com. Nice shading, no feathering, no bleeding, and barely any ghosting. True Red composition book from Staples.com. Little bit of shading, no feathering, one little tiny bleed spot, barely any bleeding, a little bit of ghosting. Alright, this is Apica notebook paper. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading, no feathering. Nope, that's yesterday. Yeah, there's I don't know what that is, but there's basically no feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. Alright, this is 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. I'm sorry, I've skipped one. This is the Nanami 7 Seas, 68 GSM Tomoe River. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading, no feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. Rhodia dot pad, 80 GSM. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading, no feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. Artist Loft 100 GSM paper. A little bit of shading, no feathering, a little bit of bleeding, a little bit of ghosting. Buffet handmade paper from Italy. A little bit of shading, it is feathering into the page, but there's no bleeding and no ghosting. U-Style notebook paper. Nice shading, no sheen, no feathering, no bleeding, and barely any ghosting. CVS Caliber notebook paper. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading. No feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. Oxford notebook paper. A little bit of sheen, a little bit of shading. No feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. Mead wide rolled notebook paper. A little bit of shading. Little bit of bleeding, little bit of ghosting. 5-star notebook paper. Little bit of feathering, little bit of shading, little bit of bleeding, little bit of ghosting. This is speckled paper. No feathering, no bleeding, no ghosting. Sheffield home paper goods. Nice shading. I can't tell if that little cross and the M is a feather, but minimal amount of feathering. Little bit of bleeding, barely any ghosting. HP Premium 32-pound copy paper. Nice shading, no feathering, no one little tiny hint of bleeding, but other than that, there's barely any ghosting. J&B Copper Plate Graph Pad from JohnNeilBooks.com. Oh, it is trying to feather into the page. Little bit of bleeding, little bit of ghosting. Akkerman Cross Section Pad. A little bit of shading. No feathering. No bleeding, no ghosting. Original Crown Mill 100 GSM paper. A little bit of shading. Barely any feathering. A little bit of bleeding, a little bit of ghosting. Okay, let's do a comparison panel to see where this ink lies. It definitely looks like a dark green to me. What did I do with my Oh, we have plenty of greens. I might have to make a subcategory of this too, because that's a whole lot of green. Should want to go higher and scooch in. There we go. Alright, this is Akkerman Dous Emerald Green next to Heart of Gold, Horseradish Mustard, Espana Boulevard, Goose Pupons, Citrus Black, Yellow Jacket, Dust Storm, Tusla Boa, Olive Swirl, Autumn Forest, Queen and Castle, Star Fruit, Emerald Fusion, Nebula Space Kitty, Palm Green, Emerald Green, Underwater Sea Dragon, Calligraphy Passion, Meadow Green, Sherwood Green, Appletini, Supernatural, Verde Prato, Key Lime Pie, Cockapoo Parrot, Aeronite, Freedom of the Starry Skies, Mermaid Green, Holly Twinkle, Forest Green, Delamere Green, Vermont, California Teal, Verde Bosco, Emerald, Olive Green, Green, Lemongrass, these kind of similar, Golden Ivy, Elf, PSC, Magical Forest, Mixable Green, Green Cactus, Spirulina Green, Bezudan Wood Growin, Sherwood Green, Emerald, Spearmint, Wuthering Heights, Zuzmolichen, Document Green, Umber Green, Mermaid Green, Cooked Spinach, Rikyu Cha, Kingfisher Green, Salamander, Olive Green, Basil Pesto, Walk the Dog, Pushkin, Brilliant Green, Arabella, Bright Green, Spirit, Jade, Greetings, Heavy Crude, Alpine, Violet Storm, Henry David Thoreau, Crocodile, Black Ivy, Best Wishes, Food Color Green, Ebony Green, Green Black, Evergreen, Nopal, this one is kind of close, Abel, Jade Noir, Daintree Green, Hells, Saibe Midori, Hera, Golden is Old, Yosemite Green, Peppermint Drop, Spruce, Encre Larry Sauvage, Freddy's Favorite, and Cloak and Forest. Wow, that's a lot of green. Wow, what did you guys think of today's ink? Are you guys looking for a dark green, emerald-ish color? Let me know in the comment section below. That's all I've got for today. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I hope that you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the little bell. Make sure it's set to all so when I upload new content, YouTube notifies you, and I will be back very soon with another video. So, take care until then. Okay, love you, bye. Have a great day.